And welcome back to Teresa's Corner. I am Teresa Ruiz, and today I have an unboxing of 2 orchids. I placed this order a few months ago from Ecuagenera, so I finally received the package. It took almost about a month and a half, maybe a month. So the way it works with Ecuagenera, right, is you place your order and they shipped to the US once a month, and they ship to Florida. From Florida, it's shipped to you. You have 5 days from when your package arrives to inspect your orchids and make any claims. So with me knowing that, I received my package Thursday night. When I got home from work, my package was already waiting for me on my dining table, and that was around 6 p.m. But yeah, they looked pretty good. Some of the roots were a little dry. I feel like they could have been better, but they have been in transit for a while, so I can only assume that's the case. Right, so I received my orchids, I inspected them, and they looked pretty good. I had a 24-hour shift. I didn't get home till Saturday morning. Today is Sunday, so I'm recording the unboxing pretty much for you guys. A little late, but I wanted to show you guys. So that's what the box looks like, and it was pretty well packaged. It also came in with an invoice of what I ordered. It also came with a certificate, a custom paperwork, you know, pretty much stating that your orchid is legal and it was imported from Ecuador, and then it was distributed, something along those lines. I don't have the paperwork here in front of me, but I'll take a picture and I'll put it in the video. The reason I didn't record it then and I had to open it is that I had a 24-hour shift coming up, and I didn't want to leave the orchids in the box, so I actually pulled them out of the box, inspected them, because with Ecuagenera, since they are importing from Ecuador, you have 5 days to make sure that there's no damages to the orchids. If you don't make your claim within those 5 days, then they cannot replace it or refund you. So I had to open the box and inspect the orchids, and they looked good. So this is what the box looks like. It's only 2 orchids that I ordered. One is a replacement, and the other one is one that I've been wanting for a while. So it came through postal services, and it came in a little box like this, well wrapped. So the one I needed to replace was the Ancilia africana. The one I had, for the longest time, it struggled because that was me not being able to meet its requirements. It is an orchid that comes from a lot of different areas in Africa, and it's hot, dry, and they grow in trees. They grow on trees, you know, so they get a lot of sunlight, and I was not meeting those requirements for it. So it struggled for a little bit once I realized that it just needed more sunlight than my other orchids. And when I mean more sunlight, I mean direct sunlight. And so I started doing that. New growths started coming out. It was doing good. The new growths were already about 2 to 3 inches long, and it was 3 different ones, and I was getting ready to do an update video on it. It took a 2-week trip, I believe, for work, and when I got back, I didn't see it in the pot. I looked in the backyard, and sure enough, it was in the backyard, you know, dried, shriveled, and it'd been chewed up. So one of my dogs got to it before I was able to do the update video, and I love this orchid so much. And the fact that I actually got the care down just made me want to replace it. So this is it. I hope you can see that. It is a little bright outside. I'm sorry, you guys. So far, when I inspected it, it looked good. Came in a little plastic bag like this. The roots were wrapped in some moss. They look a little. Actually, they were wet. There's a lot of moisture in there. But I don't know if that's why the roots look a little dry. and maybe like rotten, but I mean, they're not too bad. I can work with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. I do have to notify them though and let them know that the roots looked a little. They're not in the greatest condition, but like I said, this is a very resilient orchid. It is a very nice, decent size Anslia africana. A little dry leaves, but I mean that's because of transit, I'm assuming. But overall looks good. So yeah, that's the one. The second one, and it's one of the orchids I've been wanting for a while. If I'm not mistaken, they're like cooler grower phalaenopsis, is the Phalaenopsis pulcherrima. And this one, look at the roots, pretty good roots. I did soak them the day I unboxed them in some seaweed solution, and then I put it in this container here to just let it drain, and it's been there since. I'm gonna go ahead and pot them today, and I'll show you what they look towards the end. But I mean, a little dehydration, but that's to be expected. It came in a bag just like the other one with some moist moss around it, but it was in a package for a while, so it's okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how they look once they bounce back, but I will keep you guys posted. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pot these and I'll get back to you guys. So I'm going to start with my Anslia africana, and I'm not going to go ahead and show you the entire process. I'm going to bore you to death if I do that, but I just want to show you the roots, how the plant looks. I know when I first showed you the unboxing it wasn't so in detailed, but yeah, this is the plant. It's about 1 foot and maybe 3-4 inches long. That's including the roots to the end of this long, the tallest leaf. Roots are not looking that great, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my gloves on. I haven't been able to find any hydroperoxide, and I'm completely out. So the next best thing is I have some insecticidal soap that I'm going to go ahead and use. And I'm hoping that should be good enough. I was planning on using some neem oil with alcohol and a little bit of soap water, but I don't want to use the alcohol on these new orchids. One, because they're already stressed from the import, and it's kind of cold outside. I can always set them out somewhere where it's airy, but like I said, I feel like they're already stressed enough. I don't know if I should add the alcohol, so I just don't feel comfortable with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray it with some anti-cider soap. I'm still going to clean the roots and everything, but these plants have been separate from my collection. I don't want introduce anything. I'm not saying that there's any pest or anything like that. I haven't seen any yet, but I can't just be naive and assume that that there's not a possibility. So better safe than sorry. And I'm gonna do that while I clean up the root system. I just kind of want to show you how it looks. I'm not too worried about this one because, like I said, as long as it gets a lot of sunlight and you're not overwatering, it's gonna do great. Very resilient orchid, and I know for experience because one of my first few orchids was in Anslia africana, and it was not in the best conditions. That was my fault for buying something that was not in such a great shape. But I was inexperienced with species and I didn't know anything about it. I was like, wow, species, let me get it. It's only $10, right? Well, it was definitely a learning experience. I will not do it again, unless I feel comfortable that I can bring it back. You know, that I can nurture it back to health. Other than that, I wouldn't. Because it does require a lot of care, and you have to be able to meet its conditions. And if you don't do that, you're just wasting your money. So I'm not going to remove them all. So I'm just removing the ones that are completely broken, like these. Hopefully you can see that better. Because those are just going to fall apart and deteriorate in the media. And so I'm just going to pot it in bark, and that's it. So I'm not going to remove all the roots. I'm just removing the ones that looked completely like a strand of hair. There's pumice in here from when it was potted. I'm assuming they use the pumice in whatever media they use to keep it airy, because these are epiphytes and they grow on trees. So I'm gonna use just bark, and I'm gonna throw in some rocks in there to keep it airy, but that's pretty much it. So now that I've cleaned it up, I'm gonna leave it just alone. So I'm gonna pot it in and I'm just gonna show you kind of what I'm gonna do, and then I'll just go ahead and do it. So I'm gonna use this pot here. I don't even know the size, but it's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna use some rocks and some bark that I already have. I'm gonna use one of the bamboo stakes that I have, or the bamboo skewers as a stake. And I have some gardening flexible wire that I'm going to use, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so the next one up is the Phalaenopsis pulcherrima, and it's been soaking in water with some fertilizer. I used a pump of seaweed extract, small pump, and a few drops of the Orchid Pro. So when I say pump, I mean this. I don't have a regular schedule of watering because, one, I just don't have the time, right? I do try to water once a week all my orchids, but there's some that dry faster than others, so those I water separate. So then I don't want to mix in an entire batch, you know, an entire gallon of water with fertilizer that I'm not going to use, because then I just don't like reusing it. So I bought these little glassed bottles with drops. Right, and when I water individually, I used a few pumps or a few drops. And I have the Orchid Pro. Well, I don't think you can see that there, but I have the Orchid Pro. I have some seaweed extract. I have some calcium 5%, and I have some vitamin B. The vitamin B, I only use it for when I missed my orchids. For the foliage. Other than that, I really don't use it, but that's what I mean with pumps. Okay. So this one's been soaking here. I'm gonna spray it with the anticidal soap, just because, like I said, I don't have any, and I have to be very careful with this one to actually dry it out completely before I put it anywhere. I actually do have a fan running upstairs where I'm keeping all my orchids, but this one is staying separate for another week or two. So the roots on this one look pretty good. I'm not really going to cut any roots, maybe one or two, but nothing major. I'm going to let it sit for a minute, soak in that anticidal soap, and then I'm going to go ahead and repot. I'll show you guys what they look like. Alright guys, this is all I have for my unboxing slash repot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or tips for me regarding these orchids or any of my other plants, do leave those in the comments below. I do review my comments on a daily basis and I do respond. So leave those in the comments below, you guys. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell to receive notifications of when I do upload. I do post once a week. And if you are already a subscriber to my channel, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And that's it, you guys. You guys have a good day. Bye.